So we know that there's sort of this edict. We're not really talking about what you guys know about season 5.
Yeah, it's so unfair because this year, and then he announces at the panel that, yeah, I've told the cast. And usually we're able to go, I'm sorry, that's a question for you. Well, I'm sorry, that's a question. Now we have to then go, I can't say.
Well, my question for you is this. Looking at where Olivia started and where she's gone over the last 4 seasons, what's important to you about what she does in the final season? What do you want there to be for her in these last 13?
Well, you know, it's been a couple of years since I've given Olivia my full attention, you know, and I think that I'm going to just give her my whole heart this season. And I think with that, I'll discover what I want her to be, if that makes sense.
Do you mean not some of the alternate versions might have spread you a little too thin?
No, not a little too thin, but I think that you kind of, you definitely make choices because we shoot really fast. It's not like a film where you get time to plan it and really like work it out. You're like really doing it on the go, and you get no warning that that's hitting. Like, and so you kind of like make your brush strokes end up being quite broad. And so I'd find myself often thinking, okay, no, I'm going to save that for Olivia, or no, that's not really a thing. Whereas when it's just one, you can kind of, I don't know, maybe, I don't think either of them were two-dimensional, but I don't know. I mean, there's a few things that I want Olivia to be, and a few things that I'd like to do with her. I don't know, I hope I get it all.
What do you hope to see from her in your bed?
Well, I mean, I was saying, wouldn't it be great if, you know, they just met and got along and it was all just super friendly and happy and loving and, like, awesome. But I doubt very much that I think there's going to be some issues that we're going to have to work through, so. But that'll be fun, you know, in itself. That'll be fun. And particularly, I always say this, but like I'm interested in the show, not just my character. And so I love the ideas that they put together in the show. And like with that relationship, I think the more interesting part is Etta's. Because I think, oh my God, I would love to meet my mother at my age now, her being my age now, and see what she was like as a woman, not as like my mommy. And so the fact that Etta's going to get to do that, I think that's really kind of the more interesting bit. Not that I'm not excited to play my side of it, but I've been thinking about that.
The creative choices on the show have inspired so much passion in the audience, as you got to witness firsthand. Was this the biggest outpouring of that? Because you guys do kind of work off on the side and you get exposed to the fans for a little bit. Was this like, this hit you in a different way?
You know what, Comic-Con has always been, it's funny because it's like our, we always do Comic-Con before we're about to start the season, before we start shooting. So, and also we've been coming since we shot the pilot, so it's sort of been like this slow burn of like people not knowing who we were and just wanting to know why they had lost the way they did, you know, like, to, you know, actually watching our show, you know.
Did you ever find that out, by the way?
No. They just kept fielding the questions and going, oh, back to Fringe, and they're like, flat, we don't care. And so what happens always here is that you, it's like a lovely bookend because you sort of like recap what you just spent the last year doing, what you went through during the last season. You get to kind of progress, so therefore you are for the first time aware of what people took from it, what they're mostly interested in, and you take that on board, and then you go start your 5th season. And so in the same way that it's been every other year, I think that it's just like it just gives you a massive impetus to go and like do the best job that you can and to finish strong. And the fact that we know that this is it, and we know that this is the end, is just is awesome because it means that we really are going to be able to finish strong and finish on our terms.
Is it thrilling or terrifying to try to get that ending that's going to make everybody happy? Is it both?
Well, that is a question for Joel because I don't take responsibility for that, you know, and you do have to like let that go, otherwise you just get to do anything. But you can wear that. I'm just going to do the best I can with what I'm given.
For fans,
and so far it's been not so bad.
For fans, I feel like everyone has the moment in Fringe where they realize this was more than the show they thought it was going to be. There's that, you know, for me, it's the season 1 finale when we pull out from the World Trade Center.
Right.
And I was just like, what is going on the show? For you, when was the moment that you sort of realized what brilliance and daringness this show was capable of?
The end of season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, without question. The end of season 2, but actually the moment where I was like, oh God bless, was the first episode of season 3. Because and that's a thank you to, that's a thank you to our network and a thank you to our studio, to our production, to our, that they went with it. And I know I said that all when we were promoting that, is that for them to just not throw a little taste out, but for them to actually commit wholeheartedly to go, we're going to do half of our episodes in another world that you don't know, with characters that you don't know, get used to it, meant that people then really did invest. Because I think if you've just thrown it in there, you're just like, oh, that's never going to last. But they committed and they went with it, and that's when I started to go, I'm really proud of you people that, I'm working with.
As the character who's the center of a lot of the experiments and conspiracy, have you been itching for the final resolution a little more than everyone else?
Yeah. No, I can't say that. I'm sure everybody's wanting to know what's going to happen. And I guess when we get to the end, we will work out whose story it is. It sort of flip-flops a bit too, And especially last year, and then having Peter not there, and then arriving back, it's like, well, who is there? And then with the observers, who's the chosen one? I think that actually hasn't been answered.
What do you think was your shining moment throughout the series so far? Knowing that there'll be more. Is there one defining where you're like, I didn't know that?
But it's funny because there are two different worlds. There's the shooting world and then there's the episode. So there's dramatic, performances that you're like, oh, okay, I got that. But then sometimes things that you didn't think would end up put together and they're really lovely. But it's more the technical side of stuff that I kind of get that's what kind of gets me going. I really like when they're going, wow, I did that whole thing just in such a space and blah, blah, blah. Not even the performance, but then you can do it. Or oh my God, I managed to cry, deliver all my lines in between the massive trucks coming down the street, and the drunk people at 3 a.m. Wow, that was pretty, that's kind of the stuff on set where you're like, oh, that's not so bad.
That is cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.